Dhamma talks. We will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa
Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
This is the first time online Dhamma talk. I have never thought that I must give online Dhamma talk. So today I have already talked about Maharaj's army. So I will give the source of this Dhamma talk. You can find the Pali sources in Badhana Sutta, Sutta Nipada of Khuddaka Nikaya. Okay, altogether there are 10 Maharaj's armies. So we can also say that it is metaphor, or we just say metaphorically, these 10 are Maharaj's armies. So that means when we have these 10, then we are pleasing Mara, we can please Mara. So we have to think about our own attitudes and our own minds. Also, we have to check our conditions that we are pleasing Maharaj or not. The Maharaj himself also thinks that these 10 are his army. Sometimes we also say another way. We also call these 10 as Matu Sena, the army of death. So let's start with the first army. This is it. Kama in Pali. We can also translate as sensual pleasure or sensual desire. So we have Vatu Kama, sensual objects. So they are external objects, such as visible objects, audible objects, smell, flavor, tangible objects. So we cannot say what kind of subject or what kind of object is the most attractive. But we can know that the more desirable objects can be according to our own desire. So for example, visible objects. Now in modern society, we have many visible objects. Even on the telephone, we have good resolutions. Most of the people like good resolution. Similarly, computer, laptop, projector, and many different things. So if we can see the color, the appearance clearly, this is the best one. Most of the people like that kind of objects. So similarly, we may have many different audible objects. We have many different smells, different flavors, different tangible objects. So the more desirable object will be the most attractive one for ourselves, according to our own preference. Then we also have another karma we call kilesa karma, sensual desire. So although we have many desirable objects, if we dislike or if we don't have attachment, they are not attractive. So when we have defilements, also we have desirable objects. At the time, we have like attachments, we have hatred. Otherwise, if we don't have any sensual desire, although it's very undesirable objects, no hatred. Although it's very desirable, no attachment. So now, in modern community, many of people are defeated by the first army, karma, because we are surrounded by sensual desire. We are also surrounded by sensual objects. Then we have the second Maharaj's armies. In Pali, we call arati. We can also translate arati as laziness or unwillingness. If we have arati, we are not delight. We does not delight. We don't delight in secluded place or forest monastery. So we may not delight in meditation also, especially when we cannot improve our meditations or our concentration. Then our mind will not incline to meditation. We have more laziness, boring. This is also called arati. So sometimes we are defeated by the first army, Dharma. Although we can overcome Mara's army, the first army, sometimes we are defeated by the second army, arati. So that means meditation subject is not that much attractive, especially for beginners. So when we start meditating, we feel pain, we also feel drowsy, and many disturbance, many distractions. Then we may have unwillingness to meditate. We are also defeated by Mara's armies at the time. So if we can meditate very well, at the time we may delight in seclusion. When we can delight in seclusions or secluded place or with meditation, when we can delight in meditation, then we can defeat Mara's armies. So in our life as a meditator, how many times we can defeat Mara's army, and how many times we are defeated by Mara's army? This is our willingness. So if we have very strong willingness to meditate, we can defeat Mara's army. If we don't have very strong willingness, we will be defeated by Mara's armies. So now we have the next Mara's army, Kupipasa in Pali. We also say thirsty or hungry. So as the Buddha laid down many rules for bhikkhus, also the Buddha also recommends his disciples to moderate in food. So our own life also depends on lay devotees. Sometimes we may not have enough food. At the time, we cannot meditate very well, whole day hungry, sometimes complaining, then this is also called Mara's army. But here one more thing, when we have very strong and mature minds, although we don't have enough food, that we can bear, we can tolerate easily, and we can also improve our meditation. There are also special meditators in modern community. They like special foods. Then when they join meditation retreat, they cannot meditate very well because they are interested in foods more than meditation. So if we summarize, then eating too much also causes drowsiness. If we eat little also cause hunger, we will be hungry and thirsty. So we must moderate in foods. Then we also have one solution for hunger, that is rapture or tranquility. So when we have very strong and powerful rapture and tranquility, we are not hungry and thirsty anymore. We can meditate very well. So sometimes we are defeated by attachment to the food. Sometimes we can defeat the attachment to the food. So this is the third army we have to face in our daily life as meditator. Number 4, this is tanha, attachment or craving. So here we have many different types of tanha, attachment or craving. So sometimes we are longing for choice foods, good residence or good dwelling place, good clothes, good medicines, and so on. At the time, we have Tanha. So when we are driven by Tanha, attachments, our minds were inclined to many desirable things. So that means we may have many different types of Tanha. For example, attachment to living place. When we have attachment to our living place too much, wherever we go, we will remember our living place. So similarly, when we have attachment to the clothes, our mind will incline to the clothes most of the time. So there will be many different desirable objects. So that we have different attachment. Attachment to sensual pleasure, also attachment to many other things, like attachment to life, attachment to non-existence, many other things. Our mind will incline to many different things. So when we are going to meditate, we have to give up many things. If we cannot give up, we cannot improve easily. So this is also very strong and powerful Maras armies. Many people are defeated by these armies. Even in meditation center, we have many experiences like that. They wish to overcome attachments, then they come to meditation center, but they have attachment to meditation center. Then they can stop communicating with their family member, but when they come to meditation center, they have new friends, they cannot stop talking. So that means they give up all bondage, but they are fed out by new bondage. So when we have attachment to living things or non-living things, our mind will incline to that living things or non-living things. Then we cannot stop thinking. We cannot diligently practice. Tina and Metta. We will know that these two are sloth and torpor. So sometimes our body is too heavy. Also, we are wary of journey or tired or fed up, then we cannot meditate very well. Similarly, our mind sometimes very sluggish. We cannot meditate too well. So sometimes we make very strong efforts. This also sometimes wasting energy. And we become very tired, no more willingness to meditate. This also caused by Tina Metta. You may have experienced that kind of things because many of meditators, when they start meditating, they are not very skillful. They want to improve within a few minutes. They put too much mind power to know very simple things. Then they become very tired. Mostly, when newcomer came to see me, I remind that kind of effort. If you make very strong efforts, you can improve within 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, no more energy. You will stop meditating. You will just sitting and thinking. So Tina Metta is an active mind. So if we are not very active, we cannot know the object clearly. If we are too active also, then we may have a lot of restlessness. We must be wise enough to know the meditation subject. So that means if you are too tired while meditating, or if you are tired with many other daily activities or job or anything, then you have Tina Metta. Then it will be a blockage for your improvement. So sometimes no more interest in meditation. This also can be considered a sluggish mind. This is also called blockage, according to this Maras army. So far we have already talked about 5 Maras armies. So sometimes we are defeated by Maras armies. Sometimes we can defeat Maras armies. So we can go to number 6, Biru. Biru means fear. So fear is also one of the obstacles when meditating. When you are meditating, you may have experienced many times. Sometimes the mind becomes very quiet, although very normal sounds. It's very noisy for you. you may feel shock. Mostly, people are not very familiar with quietness. Then when they have very much quiet mind, they start analyzing. What is that? How is that? And so on. Then you may also have listened many Dhamma talks given by many different teachers. Sometimes they also say they can see the ghost when they are meditating. Actually, it's not really ghost. When their mind becomes very quiet, they start analyzing. Then when their mind inclined to the ghost, they can create ghosts in their mind. This is only mind-made. Sometimes they also say, when I'm meditating, maras come. But actually, Mara cannot come. Mara's army is strong enough. So in brief, in the case of Biru, fear mostly is made by mind. We also can also say mind-made fear. So that means when you have too much quietness, when your mind becomes very quiet, don't analyze how and why and what. If you analyze too much, finally, you may have a lot of doubts, you may have fear. That's why just normally meditate, focusing on your main object. So thinking that there is a ghost or there is a Mara, fear can arise anytime. So in reality, there's no such thing. So when fear arises, when we are meditating, that means we are surrounded by Mara's armies, not Mara. So this is not inside knowledge. If we have inside knowledge, it will not be that kind of fear. Then 7. The number 7 is Vichikicha. This is also suspect or doubt. So when we have a lot of doubt, also we cannot improve. So sometimes we also doubt about our practice. Is it right or wrong? Sometimes we also doubt about our ability. Can I achieve or not? When we have that kind of doubt, we cannot improve easily. Sometimes we may ask many questions to ourselves. Is it samatha? Is it vipassana? Is it jhana? Whatever thing we experience in you, we may analyze. We were trying to apply according to our own knowledge. When we have more doubt. So if we can focus on the meditation subjects normally, we can practice easily. But when we analyze too much, the more we analyze, the more we have doubts. Okay, practically, when you see the light, don't analyze. If you analyze, it will become very complicated. Sometimes it can be yellowish, it can be white, it can be brown, it can be red, it can be different color, different shape. The more you analyze, the more it becomes complicated. So, when we are really meditating, our mind must be simple. When we have a lot of analyzing, investigating, then it will cause a lot of doubts, then we have slow improvement. So sometimes when we have good experiences, a lot of bliss, a lot of happiness, a lot of secluded minds, or quietness of the mind, we may have more confidence to practice or to continue practicing. So when we have that kind of experiences, no more doubts. So here we can also say, talk about 3 trainings, talk about the Buddha, talk about the Dhamma, talk about the Sangha, talk about past life, present life, future lives, many, many doubts. When we have a lot of doubts, don't analyze too much. Just do what you have to do now. So this is also very common in meditation. So sometimes we are defeated by doubts. Although we spend a very long time, when we have doubts, we cannot improve anymore. Then, okay, we have number 8, Mekha and Tamba. We can also say ingratitude or pride. So sometimes when we can improve that, we can be proud of ourselves. If we are proud of ourselves, is also a part of Mara's army. We can improve. Sometimes we think that our improvement is not because of our teacher, it's because of our own ability. We may have that kind of mind. So this kind of ingratitude destroys his respect to the teacher for his ability and knowledge. So when we have this kind of arrogance or pride or ingratitude, then sometimes we may not respect anybody. It will be for our own declination. So there are many new things we have to study. There are also many new things we have never learned. If we can learn very well, or if we can meditate very well, so we must be very humble. So at the time of the Buddha also, there are some bhikkhu, they study under the Buddha's guidance, but later, when they can attain like same second power, they are very proud. So there are many bhikkhus like that. Very clear one is Venerable Devadatta. He studied meditation, he could attain psychic power, but he cannot attain any part of his knowledge. Finally, he tried to compete with the Buddha. It became very big failure for him. Then, you also have known many other stories. For example, like the Sunakata. He attained divine eyes, but he could not attain divine ear. He approached the Buddha and asked, Venerable Sir, how should I practice in order to attain divine ear? Then, when the Buddha said, you should not request this kind of things, because the Buddha knew he cannot attain that kind of psychic power. He thought that Buddha has a lot of jealousy. That is why he don't wish to teach, to attain divine ear. Then you may also have to know many other stories. Some bhikkhus approach the Buddha and ask questions. They also challenge. If you don't answer, I will leave the order. The Buddha said very simply, I don't promise I will answer this question. I don't invite you to come and join as my disciple. And finally, they understand why the Buddha didn't answer this kind of question. We have only a few more minutes, right? We have also have Q&A later, right? So, we should go number 9. So this is Labo Siloko Sakaro Michala Doja Yoyas. This is the translation. This is the Pali. So there are 3 main factors that can destroy an ordained person. The first one is lava. Lava means gain. So we can gain a lot, or when many devotees offer many different things, it can destroy an ordained person's mind. The second one is siloka. Siloka means fame. So when we become very famous, this is also one of the feathers. So when we become famous, this is also one of the feathers that can destroy an ordained person's mind. The next one is sakara. Sakara means honored. When we are honored by many lay devotees, this is also one of the feathers that can destroy an ordained person's mind. So for example, when an ordained person can explain the Dhamma to lay devotees, the lay devotees may have faith in him, he may honor him too much, then it can destroy his mind. So when many devotees offered many different things, special donations, or whatever he wants, then it will destroy his mind. The Buddha said, we must not accept whatever people offer. In the same way, the Buddha also said, we must not reject whatever things people offer. We must have enough property for our living. So when we have got a lot of donations from devotees, we must be powerful. We must have powerful minds to cut attachment to all the donations. Similarly, when we become very famous or when we are honored by many devotees, we must have powerful minds to stop attachment to all the honors, fame, and gain. Then, if we don't have enough mind power to stop attachment to gain, fame, and honor, we may create many new meditation methods. As you know, in our modern society, there are many teachers. They create many new things very far from Buddha's teaching. So many people also like strange things or wonderful things or extraordinary things, such as I can read your past lives, or I can know your future, or I can communicate with divine beings, and so on. So actually, all these are not really very important for a meditator. So when we can observe precepts, when we can meditate very well and concentrate very well, when we can discern Namarupa, when we can practice Vipassana, is good enough. We have a lot of followers or devotees by creating his or her own meditation methods, talking about seeing past lives or reading other people's past life, other people's minds, and so on. This is improper devotees and improper follower. Out of this kind of devotees or followers, we are defeated by Mara's armies. So Adokasana Paravamana means extolling oneself and contempt on others. So sometimes we upgrade ourselves too much. Then we extol ourselves. Then we also try to contempt other people. Then I'm right, they are wrong. So sometimes we have very weak knowledge. Then we think we are right. But we just say that we are right, but we don't think about other people, or we don't really learn properly. So when we have that kind of mind, so we cannot improve anymore. So sometimes they also find many sources from Buddha's teaching. Sometimes they cut small piece of Pali from one part and they quote, and they say, Buddha say like this. So if we read one passage, it's another meaning. If we just read only one sentence, it will be another meaning. Sometimes people have wrong perception. If they can defame other people, they can be famous. They thought like that. But in reality, it's not truth. If we defame other people, we cannot be famous. We can be notorious. In modern community, you can know many people now because social media. Many of people don't want to listen. They don't listen properly, but they are waiting for talking. So when we have Adokasana Paravamana, that means we extol ourselves too much, or we contempt on other people too much. This is also one of the Mara's armies. When we have that kind of mind, or when we have that kind of activities, we are defeated by Mara's armies. Today, altogether, we have already talked about 10 Mara's armies. 1, Kama, the 5 sensual pleasures, and sensual desire. Then 2, Arati, not delighting in secluded place, and not delighting in meditation. 3, Kubipasa, being hungry or thirsty. 4, Tanha, craving or attachment. 5, Tinamita, sloth and torpor. 6, Biru, fear. 7. Vicikiccha, doubt or skepticism. 8. Mekha and Tamba, ingratitude and arrogance. The 9. Labo sakaro siloko, mechalaraja yoyoso. That means gain, fame, honor, and convenience or followers. That is the gain by improperly or illegally. So 10. Your chatanam samukanse parecha avajanati. Is ruling oneself and contempt on others. So these are 10 Maras armies we have to face every day. When we can overcome these Maras armies, we can improve faster. So in other words, when we have to encounter these Maras armies, we may have many difficulties to improve. Then when we can overcome or defeat these Maras armies, we may have less difficulties and we can improve faster. Then the Buddha said that the 7 enlightenment fetters can destroy Maras armies.
Can you repeat, Bante?
The Buddha said that the 7 enlightenment fetters can destroy Maras armies. May you all be able to develop the 7 enlightenment fetters in order to defeat Maras armies. And finally, may you all be able to realize the final cessation. Now I think we have questions now. Right? We have question.
Good
Okay.
evening, Bante. Can I ask?
Okay.
Yeah. Bante, I'm Dita Dama from Indonesia.
Yang pasnya lama 600 ini 210 ya Om.
Okay,
I have question, Bante. In Sutta, there's this part Bante Moggallana, when during his effort gaining arahatship, he's actually encountering Tinamida. So
sure.
Lord Buddha actually teach him about Aloka Sanya. Could you tell us how should we practice that, Bante? Thank you.
For beginners, Aloka Sanya is not that much easy.
Oh, cannot.
Aloka Sanya means you may have known that Venerable Mahamoggallana has very strong concentration. So like Aloka Sanya means like Aloka Kasina, like a white kasina. When we can practice kasina very well, we can expand the light brighter. When we have very bright lights, we may not feel drowsy. This is the logic. Then the Buddha also talked to Venerable Mahamoggallana to practice Aloka Sanya. That means to expand like kasina or white kasina. Okay, in order to overcome drowsiness. Okay. There's a question. Yeah, I don't know how to do.
Ya.
Okay. Good night, Sayadaw. My name is John Madley. I'm from Jakarta, Indonesia. I would like to ask about karma. Sayadaw mentioned number 2 is that the same as Udaca, and number 8 and 10 is that also the same as mana. That's the question, Sayadaw.
Okay, so number 2 and
number 2 is that the same as Udaca, and number 8 and 10 is that the same as mana. Also number 9 is that is the same as Bapa Sawa. So it claims his existency. Number 9. That's the question, Sayadaw.
Sati. Seven enlightened to destroy Sati. Dhammawijaya.
Number 2 and number
2 as Udaca. Udaca, Sayadaw.
Number 2. I don't know. Arati is not Udaca. Arati means not delight.
Because it cannot stand in one place. It's not come in one place. So it play is so it change to another place like that. So it does
Okay,
mean
no.
the same as. Oh,
Okay, so that means, for example, you are not happy in the forest monastery, or you're not very happy in the quiet place. This is called arati, not delighting in seclusions or not delighting in meditation. Okay,
oh, okay.
it
So
doesn't
it's
mean
different.
udacha. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Shadow.
Next one.
Number 8 and 10 that is the same as mana, arrogant.
8 and 10. Okay, they are two different
Yeah.
things. Okay? Two different things mean. Mana means ingratitude. Okay, ingratitude means although, for example, like you have gratitude. Your father is very grateful for you, right? Your father is grateful for you, right? So if you speak ill of your father, then you are ingratitude. This is it. Number 8. Okay, Mecca and Tamba. Okay. So for about number 10, it can be anybody. There is some well-known person or some influential person or celebrity you dislike, then you defame by pointing out his or her mistakes or many bad behavior. This is called adukansana and paravamana. Okay. So it will be two different conditions.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Shadow.
Okay.
What about the 9? Or it's the same as Babasawa? Is also different. Number 9.
The Pali you say?
Is Babasawa. So it claims for its existency about a self.
No, this is not like a self or anything. Okay, in this case, don't think about ultimate reality. Okay, when we talk about Labha, Sakara, it's not really about ultimate reality. Don't apply it to many other Vedama terms. Okay, so Labha means gay. So that means improper gay or illegal gay, we can say like that. Similarly, faith or attendance or followers. So sometimes we persuade many people to follow us. We're trying to make ourselves famous by creating many fake news or fake attainments. This also can be considered as an improper gay. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, Shadow. Shadow.
Then any other body? And there are some questions now.
Sayadaw,
Mm-hmm.
we would like to let Mr. Effendi first to ask question because Mr. Effendi has raised hand first before the other participant. So now we would like to allow Mr. Effendi to start the video.
Oh, okay, Shadow. This brother asking about when someone attains Sotapanna, there will be three types of defilements being destroyed, which is the Uddhaca, and then Silabata Paramasa, and then Vicikicca. And then he asked about what about the first and the fourth Maras army, which is the first one is Kama, and then the fourth one is Tanha. Do they still experience and has to face this kind of Maras army, Shadow?
Okay. Sorry. So actually Sotapanna can eradicate Vicikicca, not Uddhaca. Sotapanna Paramasa also okay. But Sotapanna still have sensual desire. Sensual desire is eradicated by non-returning path and fruition knowledge. Then Anagami can eradicate sensual desire. That's why Sotapanna still have sensual desire or dana.
Okay, Shadow. Basically, she was asking if someone has a business like opening a shop, Shadow, and then there might be someone like a salesman come to the shop, and then when they buy some things, they ask the shopkeeper to make up the receipts, like if they buys like a certain product at certain price, like 5,000, and then she asked the shopkeepers to raise the price. Is this manner considerably proper or improper, Shadow? And then the second question is, if they don't want, if the shopkeeper doesn't want to create a fake invoice, they will not able or they will not buy anything, and then they will just leave the shops. What should they do actually, Shadow?
This is, you mean like sometimes they go to the shop, but they don't buy? They get receipt like this?
They buy, they are going to buy something, Shadow, but they ask us, the shopkeeper, to upgrade or to increase the price,
I
not
know.
as per what they want to buy, Shadow. So like they're
I
asking the
see.
shopkeeper to create a fake invoice, Shadow.
I see. Oh, that means like they just ask shopkeeper to make higher price. Huh?
Yes, exactly,
This
Shadow.
is I mean, untruth information, right?
Yep.
Untruth
Yes,
information.
Shadow.
Oh, this is a kind of musawada, right? A kind of arina dana.
So Shadow, so actually the questioner here, the one who asked this lady, is the one who owns the shop, Shadow. So she was actually just helping the salesman to upgrade the pricings in invoice. So she actually doesn't take any profit or anything, Shadow. She's just creating a fake invoice to the salesman, and well, while she also owns the shop, Shadow.
So that means some people come to her shop and they ask to make higher price.
Yes, when they want to buy something, and then they ask the shopkeeper or the owners to increase the price.
I see. Okay. Oh, this also happen, right? In the case of akusala, we must be careful. If we agree or if we have, right, then this also akusala, the same.
Okay, Shadow, I think we will skip first, Brother Kurniawan. We will go to the next question from the group chat. So we have Sister Davina Sanjaya asking a question. Good evening, Shadow. I would like to ask a question. Is this Mara's army also can occur or happen to someone who has attained Arahat? Because in the Dania Sutta, Sutta Nipata, or on Uraga Sutta, there is a story where Dania wants to be ordained to be a monk, to be a bhikkhu, and then Mara appeared to tempt the Buddha, Sayadaw. So please provide the explanation for this story or situation, Sayadaw. Dania Sutta. When this Dania wanted to be ordained as a disciple of the Buddha, then Mara come to tempt or to disturb or to make make Lord Buddha how to say in doubt from ordaining Dania into a disciple.
Actually, Mara's armies cannot disturb. Only Mara himself can disturb maybe.
Oh.
So you may have known many times Mara disturbed the Buddha. Mara also disturbed Venerable Mahamoggallana like that. Right? So most of the Mara's army are very similar to defilements. That's why most of the Arhats has already eradicated defilements. Then it's almost impossible to be defeated by Mara's armies.
Okay, Shadow. The brother Henki say that he would like to thank you for giving him a time to ask a question to Shadow. So he basically has 3 questions, Shadow. The first one is, do the meditations objects being selected or being given to a meditator would affect the race of Mara during the meditation, Shadow?
Meditation subject me?
So the question is whether any relationship between the meditation's object selections that given to meditator against the Mara appearance.
Actually, it's not that much related to meditation subjects. Meditation subjects can be according to our own preference. It doesn't matter. So the main thing is how we focus on it. Sometimes we are not very wise. When mind become very quiet, we create something, then we will think this Mara is coming. Actually, Mara cannot come. Mara's army is powerful enough to disturb people.
Shadow, the second question is, how do we know and how do we reflect ourselves that at that time we are facing Mara's army, Shadow? How do we know that we are still facing Mara's army?
So, okay, for example, the first army, we have sensual objects, we also have sensual pleasure, two things. Sensual objects are external. Sometimes we can avoid, sometimes we can avoid. But the main thing is sensual desire. When we can cut sensual desire, or when we can overcome the sensual desire, then no more karma. The main thing is to train ourselves, not to have attachment to anything.
The third question, Shadow, the last question is, as a lay devotee, can we overcome Mara or Mara Senas, Mara's army, without having ordained as a bhikkhu or having participate in meditation retreat, Shadow? So as a lay devotee, just a regular lay devotee is living in a house without being ordained as a monk or even participating in a meditation retreat, do we have or can we overcome Mara, Shadow?
If we cannot meditate, we cannot overcome Mara's armies. Similarly, if we don't have proper meditation subjects, we cannot overcome Mara's armies. There must be proper meditation subjects. We must also have proper meditation, proper training to overcome it.
Okay, Shadow, that is the last questions. Brother Monita, please continue.
Okay, thank you for the given occasion. Good evening, Sayadaw. Thank you very much for your Dhamma lesson before and also the very useful meditation advices. I have one short question, but maybe Sayadaw can explore the answer to be very deep. My question is, who is, or more exactly is, what is answering my question? Thank you very much.
Okay, so the question is, who is the question, who is the answering, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we have two different angles here. Conceptual points and ultimate points, right? So according to concept, sure, we have to say, Ukora is the answering, you are questioning. But for ultimate reality, nobody is questioning, nobody is answering, because we all are Namarupa, right? So it should be very simple answer now, right? Okay.
Sayadaw, I will read the question. Rudy Eng asked in English, so after I read, maybe I would like to request Brother Lukito to translate first before Sayadaw answer. Okay, so the question is, Wandami Sayadaw, first I would like to say happy Asada Day to Sayadaw and also happy birthday to Sayadaw. Then my question is, as Sayadaw mentioned, only by cultivating the seventh factor of enlightenment can defeat the army of Mara. Then, how is the seventh factor of enlightenment can defeat the Mara's army?
So it will be a very big topic, right? So actually, seven enlightenment factors, even in my notes, it's I think more than, I don't know how many pages, more than 72 or something like that. 81 pages, right? So it will take very long answer. If the main thing is, among the seven enlightenment factors, we have two different groups. The first group is Viriya, efforts, Then Dhamma investigation, piti, rapture, the enlightenment factor of rapture. So we have these three as the first group. So we have second group. Passaddhi Sambhojjhanga, that means the enlightenment factor of tranquility. Samadhi Sambhojjhanga, the enlightenment factor of concentration. Then Ubhakha Sambhojjhanga, the enlightenment factor of equanimity. This is second group. So when we have very active minds, we have to develop the second group. Sometimes we have a lot of slackish, unwillingness, or laziness. We have to develop the first group. So that means we have many different ways to develop in every single enlightenment factors. So there are many ways, we have many choices to develop enlightenment factors. So if we can improve the enlightenment factors according to the system mentioned in the Buddha's teaching, we can overcome Mara's armies. So for example, we have many different ways. Okay, at least, okay, we have the 4 different ways to develop mindfulness or enlightenment factor of mindfulness. We also have 7 ways to develop the enlightenment factors of the Dhamma investigation. So we have many choices. According to our conditions, we have to develop. When we can develop, so we can improve meditation, we can also overcome Mara's armies. So like a British Sambhojjhanga, right? It will be around 11 ways to develop something like that. So there are many things. It will take very long time to explain how to develop enlightenment factors. Okay then, any more question?
Okay, Shadow, actually it's now 9:33. So should we continue or should we stop the question and answer, Shadow?
Okay, so in Myanmar time zone is only 9:02, no problem.
Oh, no problem. Okay.
Your side.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, let me see the order.
Okay. Shadow. Yeah. Shadow. The question is, this brother ever heard that someone, if they attain up to a certain level of jhana, say like 6 or 8 jhana, those someone who already attained may have dropped or lost his ability to attain the jhana again. What is the cause and why is that they can drop or lost the ability to attain jhana again, Shadow?
Okay, so there will be different reasons, different causes. The first one is in Pali we call kilesa tipa. When very strong and very gross defilement arises, they can get lost. This is the first cause. So we also have another one is like a laziness. No, they don't want to maintain very well. Then this also can be another, we call Ananu Yoga. Ananu Yoga means not practicing or not maintaining. They can be one of the cause of dropping or regretting. Regretting, right? Retracing. The next one is unsuitable conditions. So when they have unsuitable conditions, we call asabaya culture. Asabaya culture means unsuitable living place, unsuitable environments, and so on. So when they have many unsuitable conditions, then they can regress or they can retreat.
Oh, Shadow, he has another question, Shadow. If someone already lost his ability to attain jhana, Shadow, because of 3 factors that Shadow just mentioning, is there any chance if someone, after they lost their ability and then they would like to attain jhana again, they practice meditations, and can they attain to that stage again, Shadow, after they lost his ability because of the certain factors, Shadow? Can they attain again after they do practice meditation again, Shadow?
Okay, so we may have many different conditions in this case. For example, defilements, right? For example, if we have very strong defilements, whether you get angry with your father, then you kill your father. This is mighty karma. Then although he's trying again, he cannot attain jhana anymore. Similarly, killing arahat or mighty karma, right? If he, because of defilements, if he had already committed mighty karma, cannot attain anymore. So another thing is like a wrong view, persistent wrong view, unchangeable wrong view. Then if he changed already, then he cannot attain anymore. For example, Venerable Devadatta, practically. So after changing his mind to get Buddha position, he got lost. He cannot regain. He cannot attain his jhana anymore. So it depends on what kind of karma he creates when he has defilements. Then there will be different answers. Okay?
Yeah,
Bante,
Bante.
when we meditation, doing with vipassana meditation, we see two groups of nimitta in the left and in the right eyes. And then they disappear. I see the solar eclipse very bright, and in the middle is the black circle one. And then before the solar eclipse that happened, I see a golden circle, a light come from below in the center, and to the left, to the right, and disappear. I see. Is the through the light? I see the light.
Okay, we can say that you have seen the light, but not so stable.
Before before the solar eclipse, the black hole in the center. Before that, I see a circle light, golden circle light, and then from the below is the light come here and then go into the right and disappear. Right? Is it true?
Okay, so that means when your perception changes, the light will change, the color will change, the location will change. This is normal.
And then the light. I see a light come here and then go there.
So Shadow, basically, he had experienced light in front of his face, Shadow, like solar eclipse, and then before it was dark, black, and then turned into a golden circle, and then move away to the right. His questions was it a correct meditation method that he was experienced, or please apply, Shadow?
Okay, so I don't know what are you focusing at the time. So we have 38 or 40 meditation subjects recommended by Buddhas. So if you are focusing on one of all these subjects is right. If you follow the light too much, or if you just follow the light here and there, it's not really very good for your improvement.
Next question, Shadow. Shadow, we have a question from the Telegram group chat. Bante, please explain about the Dewa Mara from Paranimita Wasawati. Thank you, Bante. Question from Brother Hartono L.
Explain about Mara from Paranimita Wasawati.
Yes, Shadow.
So we also call Dewa Buddha Mara, right? Okay, so we have to use the Pali term again. Paranimita means created by other living beings. Vasavati means they follow his wish. So although his sensual pleasure is created by other people, all the sensual pleasure, including living things or devis, right? Female devas, follow his desire. This is called Paranimita Vasavati. This is the name of the Deva realms. Mara is one of the leader. We're going to be king of this airports. That's what we call Mara Deva. Sometimes we'll say Mara Raja, sometimes say like that. No, Mara. Mostly we just say Mara Deva Buddha or something like that. Anyway, so Mara is also very powerful divine beings. That's why the Mara can disturb Buddhas, also Mahamoggallana, very powerful Buddha disciples. So we have very little information about Maharaj Deva. But we can find many stories. Many times Maharaj came to see the Buddha and also just the Buddha, right? Okay, so it should be the last question, right? Because my telephone is a very low battery now already.
Oh, okay, Sayadaw. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, then I would give back the audience to Brother Kantan to further continue the session.
Sayadaw, Bante Kondanya is here and would like to wish happy birthday to Sayadaw. I'm sorry, Sayadaw, that I had skipped this moment at the beginning.
Sayadaw, nekong dela.
Come on.
So, it's good. So nice to see you again, Sayadaw. So,
Okay, nice to see you too.
I wish Sayadaw be well and happy and healthy always, and can spread Dharma around the world for benefit for all beings.
Sadhu,
To propagate Sadhana. Everything okay, Sayadaw?
Everything is fine.
Wow.
You can see my background, right?
Yes. This is in your kutis or
Yeah,
another?
yeah. It's the land.
I know. Sadhu.
Okay. Yetta vata jahambehi sambadam punya sambadam sabbe deva numodandu sabbe buddha numodandu sabbe satta numodandu sabba sampatti siriya Vidamme nyadinam hodu sukhita hondu nyadayo Vidamme nyadinam hodu sukhita hondu nyadayo Vidamme nyadinam hodu sukhita hondu nyadayo Vidamme punyam astavakhaya waham hodu Vidamme punyam nibbana sapajayo hodu Mama punya bagam tapa sadanam bhajemi pesabe mesamam punya bagam labandu
Sadhu, sadhu.